pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Was there any correspondence? Yes, from the letter from Pam? Okay. Actually, I will take this, I don't see Pam on, but I'll take this moment to just address it. It's actually, it's a good reminder, especially as we've got a new board member who hasn't gone through site plan review before, to address the process of site plan review. So the letter that we had received indicated that they didn't think that we were ready to set the site plan review, set the public hearing for the Perlman project. And the code sections that were stated was the standard of review, the environmental assessment, that the building department had said it's okay, that it hasn't gone to Suffolk County Planning Commission, and that there was a, it's separate, I'm looking for, an initial review meeting to be done. So just to sort of go through what the process is, we do, right now, the application is before the ZBA. And the ZBA is hearing it under special permit under ZBA process for the use. So it's a special permit for how the property is being used. When we get the site plan review, it is for the actual physical layout of the property. So there are two different types of reviews. That being said, there is a seeker determination that needs to be done. That will consider the same types of things. And so the ZBA has sent it to seeker, but it's going to have a concurrent review with us as lead agency. So it'll be one seeker that's done that we will both look at, and that has been submitted. And the estimate is that we will get that back before we have the public hearing on August 5th. The other thing that was brought up was how Suffolk County Planning Commission factors into this. And so the comment that was made is that the next meeting is going to be August 7th, which is after our proposed public hearing. However, this goes to Suffolk County Planning Commission for an administrative review. ZBA sent their review in to Suffolk County Planning Commission. It has already come back with no jurisdiction by Suffolk County. The expectation is that our review will also come back with no jurisdiction. We expect to receive that back before we have the public hearing. The other points that I wanted to make is site plan review. There is the standard of review that is in our code section, and while that code section is written and placed before what application process is supposed to look like, that is not the order of events. That is the guidance that we look at, is what is the standard of review that we want to look at. So all of the questions, we want to review the application, we'll have the public hearing at the next meeting, and we want to consider all of those standards of review in our questions while we're listening to the applicant make their presentation, while we're listening to the public ask their questions about the project. Let's see, what else did I want to cover in this?
If I may just interject into that. It's also the building department uses that as a basis for their substantive review, because they provide us with a report. So you can have that, you know how, like for wetlands, you have the planning board, the CAC. The building department will issue a substantive review of the site plan for your review in connection with the public hearing.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that the planning board and CAC have to review.
No.
They don't review it. There is an initial review meeting that will take place before the public hearing that includes planning board and CAC. It's just one member from planning board, one member from CAC, a member from the town board,
from the ZBA.
yeah, a member from the ZBA, and the building department and the applicant. So
And anyone else that the town board would want at that meeting.
anybody, so that meeting will be scheduled ahead of the public hearing so that any questions from there can come back to whoever the representative from the town board is, to pose those questions, or at least make the, the applicant will be there and will understand that these are potential questions that could be asked at the public hearing.
And how is a member of the town board selected or determined?
We will make that determination, so a volunteer.
We can discuss it tomorrow at the work session.
Yes, yeah, I was gonna say, it doesn't have to, yeah. But anyway, so that is the process, and if for some reason we can't seem to, in the next 3 weeks, schedule that initial review meeting, that we don't get back the letter of jurisdiction from the Suffolk County Planning Commission, or the secret is not completed by then, we can open the public hearing and then adjourn it, and push it until we get those things back. So the concern from Ms. Demarest was that we shouldn't even set the public hearing, but from my read on this and past experience, and also Stephen looked at it quickly too, we can go ahead with setting the public hearing. Someone else feels differently, but that is a resolution that we'll be reading in a little bit. So I just wanted to discuss that. And I appreciated the letter because we don't do that many site plan reviews. So it is nice to just review what the process is. So, thank you, Pam. Is there any other public comment on resolutions that aren't subject to public hearings? Was that a hand raised? Yeah, okay. Anybody in Zoom? Okay, we will start off with resolutions. Okay, we get to start us off.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Shelter Island hereby directs that a public hearing shall be held on Monday, August 5th, 2024 at 6:02 PM prevailing time to hear any and all persons either for or against a local law entitled A Local Law Amending Town Code, Chapter 43 entitled Building Construction, to require upon the transfer of real property the installation of an innovative alternative on-site water treatment system, at which provides as follows. Local law amending the town code, chapter 43 entitled Building Construction, to require upon the transfer of real property the installation of an innovative alternative on-site water treatment system, be it enacted by the town board of the town of Shelter Island as follows. Section 1, legislative intent. The town board finds that there is a nitrogen intrusion emergency on the island, which has grave consequences for both the potability and health of our waters. The town board further determines that the installation of more IA systems can help mitigate nitrogen contamination caused by conventional septic systems. Thus, upon the transfer of real property, IA systems shall be required to be installed. Section 2, amendment. Shelter Island Code, Chapter 43, Building Construction is hereby amended by adding the underlined words as follows. 43-10.4, innovative on-site water treatment system. An innovative and alternate on-site wastewater treatment approved by the Suffolk County Department of Health Services shall be required for the following projects located within the town of Shelter Island. Number 1, all new residential construction with greater than 1,500 square feet of living area. Number 2, any septic system upgrade required by the Suffolk County Department of Health Services. Number 3, any expansion or renovation of a single-family residence, a multiple-family residence, or any other building being used as a residence that A, has an existing non-conforming septic system as determined by the Suffolk County Department of Health Services, increases the square foot living area as defined in the town code by 25%, increases the number of bedrooms as defined by Suffolk County Department of Health Services that exceeds the allowable number authorized by a permit previously issued by the Department of Health Services. Number 4, any transfer of an improved residential real property within 3 years of closing unless an extension for good cause is granted by the town board, except if the transfer is A, to a limited liability company where the current owners would be the sole member, B, to the seller's spouse, or C, to the seller's child or stepchild, D, to the seller's sibling, or E, put into a trust where the beneficiary is a spouse, child, or grandchild. Section 3, authority, the proposed local law is enacted pursuant to Town Law 2274-A and Municipal Home Rule. Section 10. Section 4, severability. If any section of the or subsection, paragraph, clause, phrase, or provision of the law shall be adjudged invalid or held unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, any judgment made hereby shall not affect the validity of this law as a whole or any part thereof, other than the part provision so adjudged to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 5, effective date. This local law shall take effect upon the filing with the Secretary of State pursuant to Municipal Home Rule. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the following notice of public hearing. Summary of the proposed law. The purpose of this local law is to try and protect the aquifer from nitrogen intrusion by adding the transfer of real property to the list of actions that trigger the installation of IA systems. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Motion carried.
Whereas Karen Fiore, 142G North Ferry Road, has petitioned the town of Shelter Island to complete an existing dock that was repaired and subsequently rebuilt without a permit. And whereas the variance from the dock moratorium was granted on June 24th, 2024 per resolution number 243, now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to section 59-9 of the Code of the Town of Shelter Island, the town board hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Monday, August 5th, 2024 at 6:04 p.m. prevailing time in Shelter Island Town Hall for all those interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to the proposed construction. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Whereas pursuant to Shelter Island Town Code, Section 109, Anna Kaplan has submitted a site plan review application on behalf of the Pearlman Music Program, owner of 73 Shore Road and 65 Stearns Point Road, designated as tax map 700-13-2-31 and 700-13-2-32.1 for improvements to the existing summer camp facility. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby calls for a public hearing to be held at 6:06 p.m. prevailing time on the 5th day of August 5th, 2024, in the town, Shelter Island Town Hall for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to the proposed application. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Oh, discussion, yep.
I know you went through this, Amber. How do we ensure that these documents are posted before the public hearing?
Oh, they'll get posted tomorrow now that we're setting the public hearing tonight.
No, I mean, the documents, the secret review, Suffolk County Planning Commission report, those things.
As those come in, we can post them.
All right, and there'll be enough time for the public to have review of this?
If there's not, we have the option of adjourning this at the table when,
That's what I wanted to talk about, so what's,
Yeah, or,
All these new things are never posted.
yeah, this, it would be new, yeah.
These are correspondence.
Yeah, I mean, it would be new for us to post it, but we can post it if that's the board's desire. Also, we could always,
I mean, I think the public would be interested in these. Myself. I mean, the secret review, the Suffolk County Planning Commission opinion, those things.
well, yeah, I mean, we'll be getting them.
So,
We will definitely get them.
no, I know, but what about the public?
If you think the public is interested, I know there's like always one or two people. from-
Usually people will email me asking for correspondence regarding certain applications.
Yeah, I mean, we can start doing that.
Okay, all right. No, then I,
yeah, saves Amber Wilson some work if we just post it.
yeah,
I would have a discussion on the website. So without the promise first.
I didn't hear, what did you say, Christina? I didn't hear you.
Website committee meeting tomorrow, so we can pick it up, we can discuss it
Okay,
tomorrow
all right.
morning on that. Because it is, it is a change as to what we post.
Okay, all right. So along with that, if we're gonna post, I would, say yes, aye.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Shelter Island hereby directs that a public hearing shall be held on Monday, August 5th, 2024 at 6:08 PM prevailing time to hear any, all persons either for or against a local law entitled, a local law to extend the moratorium on the processing and approval of dock permits by the town board, which provides as follows.
Legislative intent.
Okay. A local law entitled local law to extend the moratorium on the processing and approval of dock permits by the town board, which provides as follows, be it enacted by the town board of the town of Shelter Island as follows. Section 1, legislative intent. Due to the increased growth and the speed of development throughout the town, including the request for docks along Shelter Island's fragile shoreline, and a growing disparity between the moratorium on the acceptance and review of all new and pending dock applications. In accordance therewith, the town board charged the Waterways Management Advisory Council, WMAC, to review the adequacy of our current dock code and to rewrite saying to balance the fishing, swimming, and other recreational activities. The WMAC has finalized a draft amendment to the dock code, and the town board is currently reviewing same. Therefore, it is necessary for the moratorium to be extended a second time to afford sufficient time for the town board to review and set a public hearing on the proposed amendment. And B, should I jump to?
Well, I think you need the extension term.
Yeah, probably. Section 2, moratorium extended term. A local law number one of 2024 imposing a 3-month moratorium, and local law number 4 extending subject moratorium requiring that no board, body, committee, official, or employee of the town of Shelter Island shall except for review, continue to review, hold a hearing upon, make any decisions upon, or issue any permit or approval upon any application or proposal for any construction of a dock located within the town of Shelter Island is hereby extended for an additional 3-month period of time through November 23rd, 2024. Must read the rest of it. Section B, except as otherwise amended herein, all the provisions of local law number 1 of 2024 shall be extended for an additional 3-month period of time through November 23, 2024. Section 6, authority. Is that right? Yeah. Section 6, authority. The proposed local law is enacted pursuant to the New York State Constitution, Article 9, and Municipal Home Rule Law, Section 10. Section 7, supersession. To the extent that any provisions of this law, local law, are construed as inconsistent with the provisions of New York State Towns Law Sections 264, 265, 265A, 267, 267A, 267B, 274A, 274B, and 276. This local law is intended pursuant to New York State Municipal Home Rule Law Sections 10(1), subsection 2, D3, and section 22 to supersede any said inconsistent authority. Section 8, severability. If any section or subsection, paragraph, clause, phrase, or provision of this law shall be adjudged invalid or held unconstitutional by any court or competent jurisdiction, any judgment made thereby shall not affect the validity of this law as a whole or any part thereof, other than the part provisions so adjudged to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 9, effective date. This local law shall take effect upon the filing with the Secretary of State pursuant to Municipal Home Rule Law. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the following notice of public hearing. Summary of proposed law. The purpose of this law is to extend the moratorium on the acceptance and processing of dock applications by 3 months to afford additional time to update the dock code. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Yeah.
It's like Mr. Liat with the chopsticks.
You got the fly, good job. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's gonna plague us all meeting.
Whereas a public hearing was duly held on Monday, June 24th, to hear any and all persons either for or against a local law amending Chapter 106 entitled Rights of Way to regulate sidewalks, of which provides as follows. Local Law Number 9 of 2024, a local law amending Chapter 106 entitled Rights of Way to regulate sidewalks. Be it enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Shelter Island as follows. Section 1, legislative intent. The Town Board finds that dangerous conditions exist when certain obstructions, such as tables, chairs, and signage, encroach into a sidewalk and pedestrians are forced to step into the road where there could be vehicular traffic. This danger is particularly amplified in business districts when the combination of pedestrian and vehicular traffic is greater. It is the intent of this local law to protect those persons traversing sidewalks by ensuring a 3-foot free and clear walking path. Section 2, amendment, the Shelter Island Code is hereby amended by amending Chapter 106 entitled Rights of Way by adding the underlined words and deleting the stricken words as follows. 106-1 title, this chapter shall be known as and may be cited as Rights of Way and Regulated Sidewalk Areas. Section 106-2 definitions, as used in this chapter, the following terms shall have the meanings indicated. Obstruction, material located within the boundaries of a highway, including the right of way or shoulder, or a regulated sidewalk area that interferes with public travel, whether vehicular, by bicycle, or foot, including vegetation, lumber, wood, logs, rocks, pipes, fencing, athletic equipment, merchandise, tables, chairs, and signage. Regulated sidewalk area, a paved pedestrian path 3 foot in width from the roadside edge of the said path. Section 106-3, obstructions prohibited. It shall be prohibited for any person, firm, corporation to cause, permit, or allow any obstruction to exist within a right-of-way or regulated sidewalk area. It shall be the responsibility of the property owner or the person in control of the property to immediately remove all obstructions within the rights-of-way or regulated sidewalk area adjoining their property and to restore the right-of-way or regulated sidewalk area to its original condition and design. Section 106-4, authority to serve notice and abate immediate danger. The superintendent of highways or their designee or any town Shelter Island police officer may, if necessary, provide notice to be served upon the owners or persons in control of the subject property, as hereunder provided, to remove any obstructions which may exist upon a right-of-way or regulated sidewalk area adjoining their property. If there is an immediate danger to pedestrian, bicycle, or vehicular traffic, the obstruction may be removed immediately by the superintendent of highways or his designee or a town of Shelter Island police officer without prior notification to the adjoining property owner or person in control of the property. Section 3, authority. The proposed local law is enacted pursuant to Municipal Home Rule, Section 10, and Town Law, Section 137. Severability. If any section or subsection, paragraph, clause, phrase, or provision of this law shall be adjudged invalid or held unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, any judgment may be thereby shall not affect the validity of this law as a whole or any part thereof, other than the part provision so adjudged to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 5, effective date. This local law should take effect upon the filing with the Secretary of State pursuant to municipal home rule law. Summary of the proposed law. The purpose of this local law is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of those who traverse Shelter Island sidewalks by prohibiting obstructions therein. It also allows the town to remove such obstructions if the property owners adjoining shall fail to do so. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Whereas a hearing was duly held on Monday, June 24th, 2024, to hear any and all persons either for or against a local law entitled A Local Law amending Chapter 65 entitled Filming to increase the deadline for film permits applications from 14 days to 30 days prior to the proposed film shoot, of which provides as follows. Local Law 10 of 2024. A local law amending Chapter 65 entitled Filming to increase the deadline for filming film permit applications from 14 days to 30 days prior to the proposed film shoot. Be it enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Shelter Island as follows. The legislative intent. The Town Board finds that the filming of film permit applications only 2 weeks prior to proposed film shoots does not afford the town clerk and other town officials the appropriate time to review the same. Thus, such deadline needs to be increased from 14 days to 30 days. Amendment. Section 65-5 of the Shelter Island Code, Chapter 65, filming is hereby amended by adding underlined numbers and removing the stricken numbers as follows. 65-5 permit. C. The application must be filed at least 30 days in advance of the earliest date for which the permit is applied for. If the application is not timely filed, the applicant shall pay a rush fee in the amount specified by the Town Board resolution. Section 3 authority, the proposed local law is enacted pursuant to Municipal Home Rule Law 10 and the Town Law 13015. Severability, if any section or subsection, paragraph, clause, phrase, provision of this law shall be adjudged invalid or held unconstitutional by any court of the competent jurisdiction, any judgment made thereby shall not be affected by the validity of the law as a whole or as any part thereof other than the part provisions so adjudged to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 5, effective date. This local law shall take effect upon the filing of the Secretary of State pursuant to Municipal Home Rule Law. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Whereas a public hearing was held on Monday, June 24th, 2024, to hear any and all persons either for or against a local law entitled A Local Law amending Chapter 126 entitled Vehicles and Traffic to add parking restrictions on the north side of Cheapwood Avenue and add a crosswalk across Clinton Avenue, of which provides as follows. Local Law number 11 of 2024, a local law amending Chapter 126 entitled Vehicles and Traffic to add parking restrictions on the north side of Cheapwood Avenue and add a crosswalk across Clinton Avenue. Be enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Shelter Island as follows. Section 1, legislative intent. The Town Board finds that during the summer season, May 15th to September 15th, with the increased traffic to the Shelter Island Yacht Club coupled with the relative narrowness of Cheapwood Avenue, there should be no parking on a certain portion on the north side of Cheapwood Avenue. This will avoid a situation where an emergency vehicle would be prevented from fully accessing Cheapwood Avenue, as well as potentially protect against a vehicular accident due to the two-way traffic at such a choke point. Additionally, the Town Board has determined that to ensure safe pedestrian traffic to the Yacht Club, a crosswalk across Clinton Avenue is required. The amendments are as follows. To Section 126-7, pedestrian crosswalks. F is added. There will be a pedestrian crosswalk on Clinton Avenue near the intersection of Summerfield Place / Cheapwood Avenue. The next amendment is to Section 126-8, which is parking restrictions. We're adding SS. No person shall park a vehicle, nor shall a registered owner of a vehicle cause, suffer, allow, or permit said vehicle to park on the north side of Cheapwood Avenue, beginning at the westerly corner of 7 Cheapwood Avenue and extending 500 feet to the easterly corner of Cheapwood Avenue between May 15th and September 15th annually. The authority is the same as other resolutions we read this evening. The severability is the same. The effective date is the same. Summary of proposed law. The purpose of this local law is to ensure safe vehicular and pedestrian travel and emergency access along Cheapwood Avenue and pedestrian travel across Clinton Avenue. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Whereas the Town of Shelter Island, excuse me. Whereas the Town of Shelter Island hereby requests financial assistance from the New York State Water Quality Improvement Program. And whereas the WQIP program supports non-point source abatement projects to support water body controls for nutrients, and whereas the town is planning to implement the recommendations contained in the fresh pond in water body nutrient control feasibility study relating to the pilot phase of the project with an estimated total cost of $325,000. And whereas the WQIP provides support for eligible capital costs and requires 25% matching share based on the grant award amount. And whereas the town will submit a grant application requesting an amount not to exceed $260,000 and providing up to $65,000 in local matching funds. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Shelter Island hereby authorizes the supervisor or her designee to execute any and all documents pertaining to the New York State Water Quality Improvement Program grant application submittal for the Fresh Pond in Water Body Nutrient Control Project. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Should we change that pronoun? I changed it when I read it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I missed it. Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Whereas the town of Shelter Island hereby requests financial assistance from the New York State Climate Smart Communities Grant Program pursuant to Environmental Conservation Law, Article 54, Title 15. And whereas the town of Shelter Island certifies that it has identified $46,500 of matching funds from town capital funds pursuant to the requirements of Environmental Conservation Law, Article 54, Title 1. Now therefore be resolved that the town of Shelter Island hereby authorizes town supervisor Amber Brock Williams, an official or employer, or her designee to act on its behalf in submittal of an application through the consolidated funding application for $46,500 to be used for the purchase of a high water rescue vehicle. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to sign and expend the sum of $2,375, which will be reimbursed by the agreement between the town of Shelter Island and Suffolk County Probation Department with DWI enforcement for the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Whereas sealed bids to construct and replace approximately 185 linear feet of old wooden bulkhead with a new vinyl sheeting and CCA bulkhead located at Congdon Road, Town Landing on Shelter Island, New York, were received by the town clerk's office until 3 p.m. on the first day of April 2024, at which time they were publicly opened and read aloud as follows. South Shore Docks, Inc., $100,750. Oyster Ponds Dock Building and Dredging Corp., $105,250.78. Chesterfield Associates, Inc., $127,600. Crowley Marine Contracting, $189,000. S. Haney Marine Construction, Inc., $99,000. Grant Marine, Inc., $134,000. Now therefore be it resolved that said bid is hereby granted to S. Haney Marine Construction, Inc., in the amount of $99,000. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to sign the contract between the town of Shelter Island and Nathan Corwin Land Surveyors for surveys to be completed at 16 Manwaring and 69 North Ferry Road. So moved. Just to explain.
Second, then discussion.
Okay, so
Second.
Discussion?
just that we should, these are the surveys for the affordable housing,
Yes.
just so everybody knows.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved, resolutions number 179 through 2024 is hereby amended to read as follows. Whereas Tuck Shop, care of John Ciani, has filed an application to conduct business on Old Town property for 2024 summer season. And whereas the nature of the business to resell prepackaged ice cream and non-alcoholic beverages out of a Ford Transit van as outlined in the application.
This is the only thing. The one that used to.
Oh,
You don't have
It's
to
going
read
from,
through every.
oh, I got you. Okay, thank you. Whereas the applicant submitted $250 application fee, and whereas the town board has reviewed the application and determined that the granting of the license is in the best interest of the town of Shelter Island. Now therefore be it resolved that Tuck Shop is hereby granted a license to operate the business as outlined in the application, subject to the following conditions. A, the business operation shall not exceed the period between May 24 and October 12, 2024. B, the hours of operation on town property cannot exceed 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. The licensee is responsible for daily disposal of the trash created in connection with the operation of the business. D, the disposal of this trash shall be different than receptacles provided by the town at the beaches. E, the licensee is limited to sell only products outlined in the application. F, the licensee shall submit business certificate, DBA certificate, or New York State LLC certificate. G, the license shall submit tax ID certificate. H, no alcoholic beverages, clothing, accessories, or similar retail items shall be sold in connection with this permit on town property. I, the licensee shall obtain appropriate certificate of liability insurance to satisfaction of town of Shelter Island insurance broker. And J, the licensee shall obtain beach parking permit to park at the town beaches. K, there shall be no parking spot guaranteed in connection with this application. L, the licensee shall not cone off parking spot at any time. M, the licensee shall park only on the northwest side of the Wades Beach parking lot adjacent to the grass sand area of the bocce courts. And at the Crescent Beach, licensee shall park only within the designated area at the east end of the beach. O, the licensee shall adhere to vehicle and traffic law, section 1225B. P, the licensee shall remain in one area only 60 minutes at a given time. Q, the licensee is subject to the execution of a Commerce Town Property Agreement. Be it resolved that the town of Shelter Island reserves the right to revoke this permit at its discretion. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. Motion carries.
Whereas the term of Dr. Josh Potter as a member of the Deer and Tick Committee expired on June 24th, 2024, and whereas Dr. Potter has expressed willingness to continue to serve in said capacity, now therefore be resolved that Dr. Joshua Potter is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Deer and Tick Committee for a term to expire on June 24th, 2027. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Whereas the term of Debbie Brewer as a member of the Recreation Committee will expire on August 7th, 2024, and whereas Mrs. Brewer has expressed willingness to continue to serve in said capacity, now therefore be it resolved that Debbie Brewer is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Recreation Committee for a term to expire on August 7th, 2031. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to read the next one because it got left out. It's on the agenda. So I'm inserting it. Whereas Trent Firestein has filed an application to conduct business on town property for 2024 summer season, whereas the nature of the business is to provide balance and coordination fitness classes as outlined in the application, whereas the applicant submitted $250 application fee, and whereas the town board has reviewed the application and determined that the granting of the license is in the best interest of the town of Shelter Island, now therefore be it resolved that Trent Firestein is hereby granted a license to operate the business as outlined in the application, subject to the following conditions. A, the business shall be located as outlined in the application. B, the location of the licensee's business is subject to review and adjustment by the Shelter Island Police Department and the Shelter Island Highway Department. C, the hours of operation cannot exceed 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. D, the operation area of business cannot be larger than 20 foot by 20 foot. E, there shall be no parking spot guaranteed in connection with this application. F, the licensee shall not cone off parking spot at any time. G, the licensee is responsible for daily disposal of the trash created in connection with the operation of the business. H, the disposal of this trash shall be different than receptacles provided by the town at the beaches. I, the licensee shall obtain appropriate certificate of liability insurance to satisfaction of town of Shelter Island insurance broker. J, the is subject to the execution of a Commerce on Town property agreement. Be it resolved that the town of Shelter Island reserves the right to revoke this permit at its discretion. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Whereas the term of William Johnston III as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals expires on July 8th, 2024. Expired on July 8th, 2024. And whereas Mr. Johnson has expressed willingness to continue to serve in said capacity, now therefore be it resolved that William Johnston is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term to expire on July 8th, 2029. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that Gerald Siller is hereby appointed to serve as an on-call, as-needed driver for the senior center for the year 2024 at the rate of $24.19 per hour, not to exceed 20 hours per week, retroactive to June 25, 2024. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that Angela Corbett is hereby appointed to serve as an on-call as-needed driver for the senior center for the year of 2024 at a rate of $24.19 per hour, not to exceed 20 hours per week, retroactive June 26, 2024. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Be resolved that the following budget transfers are hereby approved. $3,000 from A 1490.410 grounds maintenance to A 1490.412 dock maintenance. $2,000 from A 1490.420 signs and signals to A 5010.400 office and miscellaneous. $500 from A 1490.418 gas allowance to A 5010.440 training. $200 from A 1010.484 office and miscellaneous to A 1010.496 Association of Towns. $350 from A 6775.439 supplies, and $500 from A 6775.492 travel to A 6775.256 equipment. $500 from A 677.497 program provider to A 6777.422 meals and snacks. $200 from A 6778.492 ferriage to A 6778.484 office and miscellaneous. $346.50 from B 3620.485 car maintenance to B 3620.483 Association of Towns. $500 from B 8012.498 Association of Towns / training to B 81012.484 office and miscellaneous. $500 from B 8020.490 Association of Towns / training to B 8020.495 print and advertising. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that the following budget transfers are hereby approved. $500 increase to A2705G residential repair donations, and $500 increase to A6775.256 residential repair equipment. $35,862 increase to A3389A DCJS Lead Tech Grant, and $35,862 increase to A3120.200 police equipment to be funded by the grant funding received from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services under the state's Law Enforcement Technology Program. $123,756.62 increase to A5031 interfund transfers, and $123,756.62 increase to A1440.497 engineering professional services to be funded by the transfer from water quality improvement projects per resolution number 136 on February 28, 2023, authorizing funding for the Fresh Pond Remediation Project. $1,200 increase to A2705H miscellaneous donations, and $1,200 increase to A3120.200 police equipment to be funded by the donation check received from Shelter Island Run, Inc. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to deposit the sum of $19,527.99 from the Shelter Island Ambulance Foundation Incorporated to the Ambulance Communication General Ledger 2024 account A4540.428 for the reimbursement of portable radios and assorted components purchased from Integrated Wireless Technology LLC in the amount of $14,527.99 and a $5,000 donation 85705A to be used for the ambulance communication account. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $1,019.52 from the B3620.491 building inspector contracts and the sum of $1,019.51 from the B8010.491 zoning contracts to Carr Business Systems for the contract term of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $1,024.85 from the A 1110.440 Justice Court Contracts account to Carr Business Systems for the contract term of February 28, 2024 through February 27, 2025. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $1,298.58 from the A1410.484 Office and Miscellaneous account to Carr Business Systems for the contract term of November 12, 2023 through November 11, 2024. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $1,952.06 from the B3620.491 BD contracts account to ICC Community Development Solutions for municipality annual support for contract term of August 1, 2024 through July 31, 2025. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $400 from the A3120.491 PD contracts account to Maglaclip Inc. for the contract term of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Be resolved that the 2024 general claims number 1207 through 1355 in the amount of $163,546.65. 2024 highway claims numbered 156 through 173 in the amount of $14,627.37. And 2024 community preservation fund claims numbered 9 through 11 in the amount of $4,818.53 are hereby approved for payment as audited, and the supervisor and/or any town board members hereby authorized and directed to sign the approval for payment of same. So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion?
Oh, discussion, okay, yeah.
I had a question. I saw two expenditures, the grocer reports, one for Pearlman and one for Chiquit Avenue. What did they represent? And can I see them? I didn't.
Grocer is
Yeah,
our secret consultant.
Yeah, so that would be for planning board. I mean,
Planning board?
ZBA, I'm sorry.
It's a ZBA.
ZBA?
And for us,
For us.
in connection with the site plan.
Okay, all right.
That's one. What was the other? You said you saw two?
Chiquit Avenue.
The planning board.
Okay, that, yeah, I was gonna say, because, yeah, the PW Grosser, the bill was,
Because remember, the judge said they had to do a type 1 secret review.
Okay, all right.
That They're our per diem secret consultant.
Oh, so what is it? So they're on a retainer?
not
How is-
retainer, they're on call. It's by time, but that's who we have set up, so that we have a secret that needs to be done, we give it to them.
All right. Can I see those?
Yeah, when they're generated, absolutely.
Oh, okay, then,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, they're still working.
All right. No, I just see that there was a hard price, that was all.
Okay.
For them, I don't, okay,
Oh, absolutely, you'll be getting those reports.
okay, all right, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, so we will adjourn the meeting and open the public hearing on the application of Scott Schlesinger. Amber, if you could read the public notice.
604 prevailing time on the application of Scott Schlesinger, 11 Montclair Avenue, to remove existing steps to beach, remove 145 feet of existing bulkhead, and construct 145 feet of new bulkhead in kind and place and reinstall steps to beach.
Report from the Waterways Committee.
Don't have it.
I don't have it.
Okay, I do have it on the June 17th WMAC meeting. On this bulkhead application, the applicant is seeking a reissuance of an expired permit. WMAC noted the change of the contractor, Haney, which must adhere to approved plans prepared by the previous contractor, Costello. WMAC unanimously approved the application. So we will open the hearing for anyone who wishes to speak on it. Just as a refresher, it's to remove existing steps to the beach, 145 feet.
Replace them and rebuild steps.
Yes, and they were originally granted this permit back in 2019, and it expired in 2020, right in the heart of COVID, I guess.
COVID hit,
Yeah.
everyone
So-
stopped.
Mr. Haney is in favor of it. Anyone from the Zoom audience? All right, we will close this public hearing then and reopen the regular meeting. And anticipating that there would be no reason to not proceed with this application, we have a resolution. So you're next on the
I
rotation.
think I am. Resolution for after public hearing. Whereas Scott Schlesinger, 11 Montclair Avenue, petitioned the town of Shelter Island to remove existing steps to the beach, remove 145 feet of existing bulkhead, and construct 145 feet of new bulkhead in kind in place and reinstall steps to the beach as per plans prepared by Costello Marine Contracting Corp. Dated March 15, 2019, and whereas a public hearing was duly held on the 15th day of July, 2024, for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition. Now therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to New York CRR 617.5C2, this application is deemed a type 2 action. Did you get that typo, Amber? The one I skipped over. It says, be it resolved that pursuant to.
Thank you.
Okay. Reasons supporting this determination. The proposed construction, one, will not cause any obstruction into navigable channels or an interference with navigation. Two, will not adversely affect the public's right to use town waters or land under town waters. Three, will not adversely affect shellfishing grounds or other aquatic wildlife which may exist in the immediate area. Four, will not adversely affect the quality of the tidal water, shoreline, or beaches. Five, will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent residents. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to issue a permit for the aforementioned construction as per specifications filed after said applicant pursuant to section 53(9) of the code of the town of Shelter Island has filed with town clerk a certificate that the owner has at least $300,000 liability insurance on the location and operations covered by said permit. A copy of the contractor performing the operations covered by said permit. Sorry. A copy of the contractor's current home improvement contractor's license and a certificate from the contractor performing the operations covered by said permit that said contractor has an owner's contractor's policy issued in favor of the town of Shelter Island for the liability limits of at least $500,000 covering operations of the contractor pursuant to said permit, and be it further resolved that said operations shall be completed within 1 year from the date of issuance of this permit. Said permit is subject to the recommended limitations and any requirements that may be necessary under the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the Army Corps of Engineers, and any other agencies having jurisdiction. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. That's it. The agenda for today. Motion to adjourn. Okay, to do that?
Yes,
Yes, you do.
I make that motion.
You want to
Second, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.